I've got some notes, but it's a lot of just like I like this part. This is cool.
Me
Look,
too.
Jeremy,
Do you have
Jeremy,
notes?
look
I
at
have no
this.
notes.
Look
I
at
have
no,
no
no,
notes at all. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna wing it, dude. I've looked up no information about this movie. I have no trivia. I'm just going off of memory,
mm-hmm.
which is probably wrong, but I think at least more interesting, right? Like if I come up with a fact, maybe it's not true, but like it's probably
Yeah,
better than whatever fucking truth shit's
it's
out there, right?
it sounds like you're prepared to do some speculation. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
I'm not even speculation, just misremembered facts. Like I'm gonna
Oh,
throw out a
great.
few.
Yeah.
Like I
I like
read
that.
once, or I heard maybe on a podcast that Sam Raimi directed this while hanging upside down, and no one will be able to call me out on that.
Okay.
We won't know if
Okay.
it's true.
I think I know a few things that I think are I'm going to say probably true-ish. Like the broad strokes of the trivia and stuff like that. I think I know. It's been forever. But like I read Bruce Campbell's book and stuff like that. He's like Michigan royalty. He's on our dollar bill. He's on our dollar bill out there. Kid Rock's on the 5. Shaggy 2 Ropes on the 10.
Hey, paisanos, and welcome to the Hard Drive Podcast. My name is Jeremy Kaplowitz, and
I'm Mark Roebuck.
That was
I
a
meant
throw
to
to
jump
you.
in. I was meant to jump in there.
That's
I'm sorry.
my bad.
I'm sorry.
That's my bad. You know what?
I never know.
We've been doing it differently. You usually just say my name, and I usually go for the opposite.
It felt like when you're riding in your own car or something.
Yeah. You got to adjust the seat. Is that what you mean?
Hang on, you cut out for a second, but that's what I meant. I'm sure. Yeah, it was just a little. It's familiar and a little strange at the same time. But I am Mark Roebuck. We are on the Hard Drive Podcast, formerly known as the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and for about 20 minutes known as the Video Game Super Show.
Yes. So we should just get this should be the shortest of intros because this is a long movie, or not that long, but
it's a movie. It's a fefeature length film.
It's a feature length film.
Is the first piece of trivia that I have on this.
My cat's walking away. Please look. Just stay where you are. If you're watching on Twitch, there's a cat behind me, and I don't want to.
No. If you're listening to the podcast, there's a cat behind
right,
Jeremy.
Right.
The stream is like
the stream knows
on the edge of their seats, Jeremy. I assure you.
What was I gonna say? We're watching the Evil Dead 2, the sequel to Evil Dead by Sam Raimi, and we did this in the past. We did this with Batman, the 1966 version of Batman. We had a lot of technical errors because it happened to be one of the days that Twitch shut down or YouTube shut down.
Yeah.
So we
took an intermission, I think, at some point or something.
This one's going to be great. It's on Hulu. If you want to watch it, you should. It's a very good movie, and we're going to talk about it. So I want to start the... my cat just opened the door. Jesus Christ.
Like a velociraptor? Like by the knob?
Yeah. You might as well have.
My goodness.
Let's just start the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to do a countdown?
Yeah, you should count down.
Okay.
And I got my clicker ready.
I'm going to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 count.
Wait, but did you buffer an ad and everything? Because I had to.
Yes.
Okay.
So the ad I've seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we vamp in case anyone is Twitch streaming and
They'll get over it.
Right. Even just by talking about
pause.
it, we've done that. Maybe they started it already. Okay. So I'm ready when you are. Give me a countdown and I'll go when you go.
Okay. I'm going to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And on go, I'm going to click. And then I'm going to start the timer on the Twitch stream because I have a little timer on the bottom so people can keep up. And hopefully that doesn't fuck up. All right.
Jeremy does a bang up job on these overlays every week, by the way, doesn't he, everybody? Yeah.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. It stopped. Hold on. What happened?
Are you serious?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to just start it now. All right, mine's going. I'm in the opening thing.
Okay, cool. So, so this is from 1987. Did you see this? When do you remember the first time you saw Evil Dead? Like, have you liked it for a long time?
Yes, I saw the Evil Dead, the original one, on Netflix in high school. I was in like a kick of watching like old horror movies I thought were like bad, like the Reanimator and stuff like that. And I was like,
I'll object to your phrasing later, but yes, I'm listening.
Well, do you like the Reanimator?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's a good movie though?
I think it does what it sets out to do.
Yeah, it's a silly movie. So I was on a kick of like, let's watch goofy 80s horror movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And one of those was like The Reanimator, and I was like, there's this crazy looking movie called The Evil Dead on Netflix. We should watch that. And we put it on, and it blew my mind. Like, legitimately, I thought it was
really
incredible. Like, not just like goofy fun. Like, I thought it was like legitimately like one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. And I saw it a bunch of times. And then I think a few years later, I watched the rest of them. I didn't watch them all immediately.
Okay, interesting. What did you think? Did you know? Because I mean, for anyone that isn't aware, so Evil Dead was very, I would say, I mean, it's great and innovative, but in the broad sense, like it could, it's a straightforward, let's say, horror movie, and then Evil Dead 2 is this sort of remake, sort of sequel, sort of, you know what I mean, like continuation retelling, but also tonally, it's like famously slapstick and broad
Yes.
and over the top and everything, and like cartoony, which I love. And this is the first one I saw, so maybe there'll always be that.
You saw that one first. So I like the Evil Dead more. And I wonder if it's a case of people liking whatever they saw first more.
I think so, and I can certainly see the case being made for either. I like Evil Dead 2. Just for me, it's like, it's hard to argue with that nostalgia. I saw it when I was entirely too young. I think it was like similar to your high school Netflix thing, but it was like a really young boy riding his bicycle into town to rent videos and seeing shit like that. And then like really like this would be a movie I would like rent and show my friends or something, like it just really is just so. And not that Evil Dead 1 is incredible and great and all that, but this just feels so unlike anything else. That's what cinches it for me, I think. And probably just the physicality, just Bruce Campbell's like the things Bruce Campbell is allowed to do with his performance in this is really, I think, one for the ages.
Yes, I mean, to be fair, Evil Dead 2 has all of Evil Dead in the first 10 minutes. Like, I think they were worried that no one had seen the original, so they're just like, let's just do a recap, which I don't think is ever really done in movies.
That's pretty interesting too, but I think it is because they were in this interesting spot of, to my recollection from what I read, because Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi grew up kind of together, making movies in Michigan, like backyard movies and stuff like kind of that same like origin that a lot of people have. So and I know it's like I have that weird, maybe everyone has this with the place they're from, but that weird like I couldn't wait to leave Michigan, but I think it's so cool when cool people are from here. You know what I mean? I have that weird pride.
I think that makes more sense for Michigan, but from like Long Island, like there's not. I always wanted to live in the city in Long Island, but there, Long Island's got a bunch of dumb fucking like rich people. Of course, right? Stuff.
Yeah. So there's some good Michigan boys. And Sam's brother Ted worked like they all grew up. So it's cool to see them all like them. This is them sort of taking that next step of doing some kind of independent movies and getting it out there and stuff. And then as I recall, they were ready to move on to what is the third movie, Army of Darkness, which is this really, really bizarre medieval tale that the main character Ash here gets involved with. But they were keen to move on. But Stephen King was a huge fan of Evil Dead and was like dipping his toe into cinema at that point with the Maximum Overdrive film, and which just became sort of a champion of it. And somehow through all of that, it was like deemed like, hey, we could give this thing another shot, but also I think being like the filmmakers and artists and stuff they were like, well, can we like do it differently or, like not make the same movie again? And I think that's all a pretty cool and unique sort of story of how they
Evil Dead 2 is a weird sequel in that it's not a continuation of the story so much as it's like a new version of it.
There's nothing, like there's probably never been a part 2 that's easier to watch.
Well, I think that the argument people have made, and I'm stealing this from Blank Check podcast, is that the Evil Dead and the Mad Max trilogies are very similar.
Yeah, that's a good point. That it's
kind of like a really interesting underground first movie where like the guy clearly had a vision but no money, and then a second movie where they got to like finally make the movie they wanted, and then a fucking batshit third movie. That some people love and some people hate,
and that truly feels like a different kind of genre or something. But with their reasons and stuff like that. So as far as we're going on the film, like you said, we're doing this they do this cool sort of a recap, and it all is sort of focused around like the Necronomicon, which is the first thing in the movie that really like, even again, like this is technically a comedy, but there's stuff in this movie too, because it is such a retelling of this first really fucked up movie that's what really like this movie weirded me out when I saw it, because it's so hilarious, and we'll get into that. But like, there is like shit that really sticks with you. And certainly, if you didn't have the context of the first movie and this kind of being the book made out of human flesh and shit like that, like I was like, what is that?
This stuff I really love. So right now in the movie, there's this thing that he does with the camera where he kind of has like a first-person view of the like darkness. And it keeps like barreling towards the cabin, and they do that shit a ton in the first movie, and it's really, really cool.
Kind of thing too that they were famously good Midwest buddies with the Coen brothers,
Is that
and
true?
they both and they both kind of like there's those cool like whipping around crane shots. Like if you look at like Raising Arizona, there's like a really cool like the shot that starts from the driveway and goes all the way up to the shot where where the room where the baby's missing. It's kind of like you watch that night like, oh wow, it's like an Evil Dead shot, or
That's
like
cool. I never thought of that.
The lore is that they kind of help each other, and then like years later, Sam Raimi is great. We should talk about Sam Raimi a lot.
Well, real quick, I want to hit some comments from the chat.
Oh yeah, please.
Joe says, I was never into horror movies, and then my friend showed me Evil Dead, and we watched Evil Dead 2, and I was like, what the fuck, is this the same movie when I watched it for the first time? I do think that Evil Dead is like a really good movie for someone who doesn't like horror movies. Because it's not super scary. It's just like cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, there's people that worked on these early movies that went on to be, it's like what is it, K&B? Is that it? Like the Nicotero and all those guys that became like big fucking names in makeup and effects and stuff like that, like the Walking Dead guys and stuff like that. And I think I'm not sure if Tom Savini's affiliated with Evil Dead 2 or not. Anyone? That'd be a good.
Thought Patrol official says, can we watch a different movie? No. Okay. Indiana Joe says, is there a Mario episode based off of Evil Dead? There should be. That would be very funny. And then I'm Joe suggests Coop Dead instead of the obvious evil Coop.
Yeah, that's great. I like that a lot. Yeah.
Coop Dead.
Coop is just like the king of the woods or something.
We were in cabin lands.
We were running very like this, like it's this point of view, but then it's revealed that Mario is just like looking for a Italian restaurant. It's like it's the runaround thing, you know. But yeah.
Mario, Cody Kitty says, Mario fucks up taking the Necronomicon, and an army of dry bones attacks the Mushroom Kingdom.
Oh, I like that a lot. I mean,
I'm sorry. How do I order from this menu, Luigi?
Yeah. So when we were talking about whether it be like, you know, like I like a big over the top, a Reanimator and a Dead Alive.
Yes. I love all that.
All that stuff.
I don't want it to sound like I don't like Reanimator. I just don't think Reanimator's a good movie, and I think this is a very good movie.
So like I just appreciate the geyser of blood. You know, that's something that you don't get in a lot of movies. There's a lot of bloody movies, but the times that there's just a geyser of blood is rare. You know, and I think that's something that there was sort of that real magic. Almost a decade, I'm sure it's probably a little bit more than that, but of like really just like over the top horror movies. There's always been around. There's always been trauma and shit like that, but yeah, just all these classics.
How do you feel about Deadites?
As far as like, is this he turned into a Deadite right here, right?
Yeah,
is that the nomenclature? Yeah.
So I think the Evil Dead universe, the monsters are called Deadites. They're zombie-like, but they're, in my opinion, way cooler than zombies.
They're pretty cool. This is one of the things that spooked me out too, and it's such a simple trick of just like basically it's like they let smoke bombs off in the woods and play the footage backwards, so it looks like as the sun rises, all the smoke like retreats into the ground. That's the thing, whether it's that or I do like the Deadites, like the makeup. There's really great, just practical, creative effects throughout these movies too. You know, not unlike the Mario show later. You know, you gotta get tricky. You don't have. Even I think they had a bigger budget, but still it's clearly like a modest thing.
Sandra says, when my friends first introduced me to the Evil Dead series, they explained it as a horror comedy. Was it meant to be funny? Because I thought it was a fitting description. I think the first movie is not meant to be a comedy so much as it's meant to be like over the top. And I think the second movie, they really go into it and just like, let's just make this like fucking Beavis and Butthead. Not even
Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, and I'm not. Yeah, sure. I've not seen the original Evil Dead in a while, but I do think, and like I think Jeremy spoke on that too, where it's a great horror movie that feels it might not have like rewritten the rules, like it's the kind of almost like the proto, you know, like the cabin in the woods, everything goes to shit sort of thing. But I think with Bruce Campbell especially, he just brings this sort of campy, whatever you want to call it, energy to something to where it's like Evil Dead's not inherently a comedy, and that material in a lot of other people's hands would have been differently. But Bruce Campbell has this thing of like winking at it but still doing it, and you know, like doing it well, and all of that. And there's a reason that he became a real, like he's like Bruce Campbell he's this weird kind of like star where of course he's not like a movie star that like would open a fucking huge franchise movie or something, but just like he's always just like anything he's in is always just so much a little bit more interesting because Bruce Campbell's involved. Do you know what I mean? Like
he's just a fucking nut.
Like he just steals every scene that he gets to do in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
I don't know if this is like a stupid thing to say, but I feel like a lot of horror movies usually have a female protagonist, and he's one of the few like male protagonists of a horror movie. Does that make sense?
I mean, I think there's definitely like with like the final girl and like all the hallmarks of
Right.
like, be it, Halloween Exorcist and all that and the Last Girl Alive. I think there's generally speaking, I mean, yeah, because if you think about like the Titans of Horror, it's like Jason Freddy. It's just, and then maybe on a protagonist level, like, yeah, you think of like Laurie Strode from Halloween and things like
Yeah.
that. So he is this sort of like, he's almost like a comic book character.
He really
Like he
is. He
fucking.
becomes one. I mean, by the end of this movie, he has a fucking chainsaw for a hand, which rules.
And that's right, exactly. So it is like a very and that's the thing too, it's very specific in tone, and it's an interesting thing. I think a lot of people should like just remake their movie and spin a big fucking wheel of genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Right now we're seeing Bruce Campbell driving around in his like yellow car. That's Sam Raimi's real car, for those who don't know, and it's in every Sam Raimi movie.
Oh, is that right?
It makes an appearance in every one. It's in like all the Spider-Man movies and
Wonderful.
Drag Me to Hell, and it's the Sam Raimi Oldsmobile.
Wonderful.
Fun
Yeah, like
little
this is Bruce Campbell just like turn the camera on, man.
Did you know in the fourth Spider-Man movie, before Sam Raimi was, taken out of it? I love that shot. Did you know that Bruce Campbell was supposed to be Mysterio?
Really?
Yeah.
An all new fourth Bruce Campbell character, I trust.
Yeah. So in all of so Bruce Campbell has a cameo in every Spider-Man movie, the first three, obviously, as just like random background characters, and the idea, I think, was to have him come to be like arrested as Mysterio at the beginning of.
Because it's Mysterio
Spider-Man.
who changes fucking shapes and stuff. So that makes that's awesome. That would have been really good.
It's just like the ultimate cameo of just like he was.
Mysterio's been, and then you watch it back. It's like when you that would be incredible.
And he's not like the main villain or anything. He's just like a guy in the background of the Spider-Man world.
That's really interesting.
See, that is something where I'm pretty sure it's true, but if it's not, I don't care.
Yeah, that could easily just be a fan theory after the fact. That's,
pretty sure
they should have done it. I don't care. They should have done it. Because who is he? I forget who he's in the first one. Is he in the wrestling somehow?
I don't remember.
The first Spider-Man. The second one, he's the guy that busts Peter Parker's balls about coming into the play late. And then the third one, he's really funny as like the waiter when he's trying to coordinate like the proposal.
Yeah, he's really good at that one.
Those movies turn into complete comedies.
Yeah, people. I mean, I've
Bruce
talked
Campbell
about this
is there.
online. I talked about this recently on Twitter. People give the Spider-Man 3 the
we're getting into the hot topics now.
Spider-Man 3 is not a good movie, but people give the emo dance scene way too much shit. It's a very funny scene on purpose.
I think there's a little bit of like, obviously when we turn things into clips and GIFs and stuff like that, it's like, isn't it a little bit like this is as edgy as this lame dude can muster up? Is that the intent
that was
of
the
it
idea.
Little,
I think people just don't realize that Sam Raimi's a really funny director.
I know, right?
And
like
he was doing a bit, and the joke is that it's funny, and people watched it and were like, "This is hilarious! How bad this is!" And it's like, no, you're laughing because he made a comedy scene. Like he wasn't. He wasn't trying to be cool. It was it's supposed to be funny. That's why he snaps at women and they look at him in disgust.
I know, that's the thing. There's people in that scene like making eyes like, what a fucking weirdo. And then everyone saw the movie and was like, what a fucking weirdo.
Anyway, I really love the first person stuff with the camera. You never really see what it is that the camera is. And
there's some really cool stuff just like chasing him through the house. Like it almost sounds like something you'd see in a worse movie.
Again, also very low budget. Like this is like probably just a guy running through the woods with a camera, and it's fucking cool as hell.
Right. Which I think they're in like North Carolina or something for this. So I was gonna say too about Spider-Man. I lost it. I think he was the announcer in the first wrestling match. Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Sandra says he's the ring announcer. Indiana Joe says he's the one who gives Spider-Man his name.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, that would have been so cool. Now I'm thinking about that Mysterio business.
Yeah, dude, it rules. We're watching Evil Dead 2 Porcupine Racetrack. One of I think like our goal for this, like as we're like trying to like be a little looser on the podcast, is just like throwing on good movies that maybe not everyone has seen, and I don't know, talking about why they're cool. And
this is cool. We're Beavis and Butthead now.
Yeah, why not? Why can't? I mean, we're not smart. This isn't going to be like a smart thing. I just wanted to have the vibe of like, yo, you guys seen this shit? Because it's dope. And everyone being like, yeah. And it's like, let's just watch it anyway. It's cool.
And also like, I think we've made no secret of like, we're trying to figure this out here, everybody. And we like writing, we like watching, talking, mixing it all up.
We like to do.
Yep.
I don't remember who these guys are at all.
We did a vote too, so I mean, I think
Yes,
that's
we
a
did
thing we
vote.
could
I
always
wanted
do
to
if you
watch
want to
Evil Dead
follow
1.
us and keep in a. Yeah, yeah. And
I was outvoted.
I think I said I preferred Evil Dead 2, but then we said, you know what? It's election season. Let's put it out there. And people were like, wow, these two choices.
I'm just as. Have you guys seen Black Dynamite? Yes, I have. It's very funny. I haven't seen it since it came out though.
I don't think I ever saw it. Truthfully,
It is a
you ever mean to see a
parody.
movie for a long time? It's like a blaxploitation thing, right?
Yes, parody
Yeah,
of that. It's very funny.
yeah. I would enjoy that. It seems like something I would enjoy.
You
Where
should
does
watch
the
it.
time go?
You'd like it.
Where does the time go? I had to play Rocket League for 100 hours and get worse.
Another thing about this movie that's like very low budget that I really love is I feel like most of the movie is just Bruce Campbell by himself. Right?
It could, yeah.
There's a part where eventually, sorry to cut you off, but real quick,
Sorry.
his hand becomes a deadite, just his hand, and he's wrestling with his hand for like too long, and it's purely just Bruce Campbell fucking nailing it in a room, flopping around while grabbing his wrist. And there's no, like, you believe that his hand is haunted. There's no like CGI to that. There's no special effects you can do. It's just like Bruce Campbell fucking around. It's great.
It really, it really is one of these movies that if you want to be a filmmaker and you haven't made anything yet, it's an easy one to watch and beat yourself up.
Yeah.
You could just like smash plates on your head and make the best movie I've ever seen.
This could be a stage play almost.
I was just gonna say that that I never went, but I had some friends that would go see the Evil Dead stage play, and it's like when you see this and you keep that and you're like, yeah, it is just like him, like, this, and it's a lot of like, effects and things like that and moods and stuff, but it's also like a very, I think, campy, over the top. They turn that stuff up like it's a play that you come home covered in fake blood sort of affair, but that seems very fitting for the whole thing here.
Yeah
This should creep me out too, and the player piano bit is really nice, and then it's like, I think it's like a stop animation dancing corpse thing that's happening outside. It has this like,
that's if you want to not beat yourself up about being lazy or whatever. They do some really good stop motion animation that I imagine was very hard to do.
Yeah, and just tedious and everything, but it gives it that odd, like jilted, like lifeless kind of like rickety.
I miss stop motion animation in movies. Like, it used to be more of like a go-to.
I know, and then I appreciate it, like the Wes Andersons and the Coralines that you get here and there.
I just mean like little stuff here and there. Like, I was rewatching RoboCop recently, and you remember how like great the like stop motion is. It's fucking dope.
100%. All the old there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Are you up to the corpse Star already? I
just saw her boobs.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I just
sick, dude.
Yeah,
sick, bro.
I mean, that was the frame of the shot you asked. I see your head now. What do you want me to say?
I think we're on the same spot.
Yeah.
I'd be so happy if this actually works this time and we don't just have to stop in the middle.
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, me too. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, she looks like a doll or something. It's really horrifying. Cool. So to this so you saw this in high school. Were you into horror movies when you were younger?
Not quite. I didn't really like a lot of horror movies, but my girlfriend in high school watched a lot of horror movies, and we watched a lot of them. And I like these kind of horror movies. I like horror movies that aren't quite scary, but just like weird. You know, like I really like Phantasm a lot, which we've talked about. Evil Dead's probably my favorite horror movie ever. I like Cabin in the Woods a lot.
Cabin in the Woods is really great. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else I like. I watched Hellraiser recently. That movie sucks.
You didn't like Hellraiser? I think it's like man, there's cool fucking imagery and characters in that movie.
Hellraiser has a lot of cool stuff and then just doesn't deliver for most of it. You know what I mean?
I feel like I want to like it more than I do when I watch it, but it's been a while, so I don't say too much about it. But I do recall kind of feeling like I was like the Cenobites and Pinhead. It is. I don't like that. I don't think I like that erotic horror stuff where everyone's like.
Right.
I don't know.
My friends and I were watching. We were trying to decide if it was if the movie is like trying to say something about horniness, or if it's just just what it is. You know what I mean?
One could describe Pinhead as the horniest man ever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, was
that discussed?
Well, we were talking about whether the movie is trying to be like, don't be horny because this is what it is.
You know like one of those completely like a Reefer Madness, but for sex. Yeah, I think I agree with Porcupine Racetrack that Clive Barker is just.
I think he's just
horny.
actually just a horny guy. I think he tried to just make a spooky movie, and everyone was fucking in it. There's a lot of fucking in that movie, and I read on Wikipedia that Clive Barker wanted it to be hornier, but the ratings wouldn't let him.
It said
he,
that.
yeah, no, I swear to God, that he said that he was limited to. And there was one sex scene where they said they were limited to 3 thrusts.
Oh my God! And he was like lobbying.
Yeah, he wanted
Gentlemen,
there
what
to be,
is a
like,
thrust?
more
I ask you
thrusts.
today in this screening room.
What
What
is
is
the
a
definition
thrust?
of a thrust? How do we
May
not
we-
count all motion as thrusting?
May we not lean or pivot?
Media Friend 999 says, I read like 800 pages of Clive Barker where at the end nothing happened and conflict was not resolved and the main characters just got on a boat and dipped. I read one of the
tight.
books
You
as
can
a
do
kid.
that. I want to right now. You can do that.
Yeah. What's the book I read as a kid where the title, if you turn it upside down, is the same? It's Ara something? Aramat?
I don't know. That's a good idea. Reefer Madness is good. That's like,
I've never seen Reefer Madness.
it's a phrase I use a lot when it's like, you know what I mean?
I'd be down to watch it.
The fact that we're still like, it's great that we're legalizing marijuana and stuff like that, but the fact
Wait, is
that
this the chainsaw scene?
yeah, there was just a good scene too where the he's got his corpse bride. I just have that phrase in my brain now.
Sure.
Another great like kind of something with a very little scene where it was just like he decapitates the zombie deadite and she's like biting like the web of his like thumb on his hand, you know?
Yeah.
So that's just a great scene of him bashing it around and stuff. And it's just like, again, just him with a prop. Then he puts the head in a vice and she's like talking shit while he contends with the rest of the body, I think, right? It's powerful stuff, everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, the classic chainsaw. I
But
mean,
he doesn't put it on his hand until he cuts his hand off, so he's gonna leave it.
correct.
For him, right?
Yes, I remember watching this back and always kind of feeling that like, hey, it's the chainsaw. Oh, not quite yet. And then the great turn of like,
Yeah, when he kicks the door open, right?
where I was gonna say right now, where she's like, it's like his beautiful wife again.
It's funny because it's a different actor.
Vice. Yeah.
It is weird that you just don't have to see the first movie if you want.
I like that. You know,
In fact, if you see the first movie, this makes less sense.
I know it's almost like, yeah. I don't know.
Let me know in the chat if it's too loud. By the way, I'll lower it.
And then where are you at with Army of Darkness, Jeremy? Are you a fan?
I haven't seen Army of Darkness in a very long time. I'd like to see it again.
Yeah.
My memory of it is that it is my least favorite of the Evil Dead movies, but fucking batshit, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of, we were comparing it to the Mad Max trilogy. And just in this one way alone, like I don't have a whole thing for it, but just the way that the third movie feels like such a departure. It reminds me of Back to the Future a little bit, where the third one's just a Western. And granted, the second Back to the Future is more in the future, but that's like, they're both like kind of sci-fi time travel movies. Third one's just a Western. That's how like Evil Dead 2 into Army of Darkness, it's just like Ash in medieval times, but like
that's like full on a comic book movie.
But also it's like, yeah, if you are out of cabin ideas, by all means, like I'm glad that they chased this weird idea. It feels like the kind of movie you'd hear about that never got made. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh, they wanted to do some goofy one where they went back to like 1400 and
you'd be like, oh man, that would have been sick.
That'd have been really crazy.
They did it, and it's cool.
Yeah. And Army of Darkness has one of my favorite alternate endings that actually is like, a lot of times you hear it and you're like, I could see why they cut that. I don't know. I think I might actually prefer the alternate ending. Do you know it?
No, I don't.
Army Darkness. So like, in Army Darkness, I mean, I could spoil it, right?
Yeah, you can spoil Army of Darkness. It's a
Army
very
Darkness
old
ends.
movie.
It ends with him.
Also, just real quick, I don't think anybody is watching Army of Darkness for the ending. They're not like, oh boy, I don't want to. They want to watch fucking Ash with his boomstick blasting skeletons in the Middle Ages.
Right, and I won't even give away the whole ending sequence. But the end, he's in the past. They give him a spell, and he's got to drink however, like one drip of water for each 100 years or something. And then he gets to the present, and it's revealed like, oh, and he's been telling this story the whole time in the present day. The original ending, he like actually dripped one too many in his mouth, and he woke up and he like overslept, and like apocalypse had happened, so he woke up in like desolate earth, and you just know you would have had a good few minutes of good Bruce Campbell going, oh God, oh no God,
that rules.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Oh, I took too much. Oh no, oh God, I can't do it at all.
I've got to go back.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Have you ever seen Bubba Hotep with Bruce Campball?
Yeah, that was when I saw when it came out, but that's just too fun. Yeah, that's like. I would say, that's like the next in the curriculum of the Bruce Campbell viewing. It's probably right after Evil Dead. Oh, he was in a show too. Did you ever see the Briscoe County show?
No.
That was a show.
I've seen season 1 of the Evil Dead show.
I've never seen that somehow. Is it good?
It's pretty goofy. It's more comedy than anything else, which is okay.
You notice this thing that happens, and maybe it's just me. Oh boy, that sounds like stand-up comedy coming at us.
Folks, have you heard of this?
Folks, am I the only
coming to the stage?
Oh, no.
Mark. Oh, here's a really fun thing, real quick. Do you know about the whole fake Shemp thing? Have we talked about this?
I mean, I'm familiar that's like a Three Stooges kind of term, but yeah, let's
I'm
talk about it.
pretty
What is it?
sure
What
it
is it?
was coined by Raimi, though, right? Let me look
Oh,
it up.
okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. Let me look it up. Fake Shemp. I'm looking it up on Wikipedia. A fake Shemp is someone who appears in a film as a replacement for another actor or person. Their appearance is disguised using methods such as heavy makeup, filming from the back, dubbing in audio, and splicing past footage together. Blah, 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 blah. Coined by film director Sam Raimi, the term is named after Shemp Howard of the Three Stooges, whose sudden death in 1955 necessitated the use of these techniques to finish the films to which he was already committed. Where is it in Evil Dead, though?
Like that was just kind of at that mirror bit, which is really, really great too, where he's fucking with his reflection. And like some shots you see his face, some shots it's a close up, some shots it's over the shoulder. You know, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
We're getting to the hand stuff
first
here too.
usage of the term.
And I mean,
fake Shemp. Aspiring filmmaker Sam Raimi, a professed Stooges fan, coined the term in his first feature-length movie, The Evil Dead. Most of his crew and cast abandoned the project after major delays, mostly due to budget issues, pushed the production well beyond the schedule of 6 weeks. He was forced to use himself, his diehard friends Bruce Campbell, Rob Tappert, and Josh Becker, his assistant David Goodman, and his brother Ted Raimi as fake Shemps.
Amazing. To just kind of match footage they already had, that kind of thing. That's amazing. I love that.
I always thought that fake Shemp would be a great name for like a band or something.
Yeah, that's great. I was just watching this video with John C. Reilly where people were asking, he was like answering questions. And he said in college he was in a band called Frozen Spit. That stuck with me.
I was in a fake band in college called Rhombus. But
oh, that's tight.
One of the other people in the band to this day, who I bring up because I'm starting that podcast with him, insists that the name of the band was called the Jizz Biscuits and refuses to acknowledge any other name.
Every part of this is absurd, Jeremy.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, do we cut away and we cut back to it? The hand thing was in progress.
Yeah,
he
just said
curious.
His hand. I don't know.
Like clearly, like people love this movie. It's not, you know, it's not lacking for acclaim or anything. But like, I don't know. Do people who get shown that to are like learning how to like do like physical acting ever or something? It seems like it might be something worthwhile, right? Like Bruce Campbell just doing fucking flips in his kitchen. And
if you're into like, if you're taking like an acting class or an improv class, just watch fucking Bruce Campbell flopping around his cabin by himself.
Because it is obviously sillier than, you know, it is anything else. But like, I don't know.
It's good. Bruce Campbell would be a very good sleepaway camp counselor.
Like in the movie Sleepaway Camp?
No, I just mean like, imagine, like he just seems like a fun dude. Like he would just like put on a little show for people.
Oh, sure,
like
yeah.
You can do that hand trick anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
You don't have to be in a movie to do the hand trick. He's like a cool uncle at like a dinner
Could you
party.
imagine camp counselor? You're telling ghost stories one night. He's like, and they said that hand still gets possessed to this day. And then he does a backflip. He does a backflip into the fire, puts the fire out. Everyone's all fucking spooked. That's a great trick. The old backflip into the bonfire.
I have no memory of who these people are. By the way,
it's a front flip.
They're
coming. It's like her. One of the characters is the girl's dad was the guy reading. He disappeared working on the Necronomicon. He was working the Necronomicon beat. Right. And then so like that tape they played, all the plot that we talked over, where they played the tape. Bruce Campbell finds the audio recording of the dad reading the words. Him reading the words, playing the tape of it, I should say, unleashes all the dead. So now the girl and her friend have met a couple of locals, so the four of them are en route to the cabin here. This is what's going on. This
is why we can't watch this like a movie that we've never seen before for the podcast.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, I don't know. That would be rough. I think they do a cool trick too. Where I feel like they speed up the film on this or something too. Is that possible? I feel like
so this is all just Bruce Campbell fucking around by himself.
Like, are you kidding?
And it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
It really looks like his hand is beating the shit out of him.
And there's just like, there's good sound effects. There's like stuff just falling from above that probably shouldn't really be happening, but it just kind of adds to that overall chaos of the moment.
Like, can he do a flip? I guess that must mean he can literally do a front flip, right?
Well, he lands on his back, so he can't like do it in an acrobatic way. It's more like a pro wrestling, a bump as they would call it. But you know, the pro wrestling fan of me loves this whole sequence. There's been fun bits like that where people fought like an invisible wrestler, and they just sort of are doing this because so much of wrestling is like, pretending to be hurt, and a guy pretends to hit you and you go flying. So whether that fake punch is there or not, you're kind of doing the same thing quite often. So it's like, This
is so fucking cool though.
And then the hand is dragging his ass across the, not his ass.
I don't quite love horror comedy as a genre.
Okay. See, I think I do.
but I
But I
love
mean,
this so much.
but it's not a deep genre. If you're talking
No.
about times it's really been done.
Let's
If
see.
you're talking about compared to like dramas, comedy, you know.
Well, let's look up what horror comedies are, like the big ones, right?
I'm gonna tell you that for my money. I mean, Shaun of the Dead's hard not to talk about.
Sure. I
Return.
like Shaun of the Dead. I only saw it recently for the first time, like this summer. First time I ever saw it.
I think it's a thing like Evil Dead 2, like Shaun of the Dead, is when you have an Edgar Wright or a Sam Raimi, there's like a crazy attention to detail and a crazy personality. And I think with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, they kind of have their same like almost relationship. There's a cool creative energy there, I think. Return of the Living Dead is probably my favorite.
Haven't seen it.
Just bar none, just so funny, so good.
What We Do in the Shadows is good, but that's not really
What We Do in the Shadows.
a horror. That's just like comedy about.
But I
horror
mean,
stuff.
no, but what? Yeah, that they kill people and stuff. That's like it's like a
Sure.
horror, right? Like
This is like a horror comedy. I feel like a horror comedy is like.
Yo,
What?
Porcupine Racetrack said Club Dread, which I should really say. That I think is a very underrated horror comedy. Club
never
Dread is
seen
one of the only ones. It's Broken Lizard. It's the only one of the ones I can think of that just plays like a horror movie. It really has a horror movie plot. It's just really funny along the way, which I know. I guess that's Shaun of the Dead too. I guess I don't know how to explain it, but it's really
I
good.
do love Cabin in the Woods very much. I said that earlier. That's a great movie.
And Club Dread is notable because it has, and this is one of my very favorite actors. It has one of my very favorite Bill Paxton performances as Coconut Pete. Like the whole idea of Club Dread is that Coconut Pete is like this who's the Margaritaville guy? Jimmy Buffett type like party guy who like turned all of his songs into this fantasy island that people go to. So Coconut Pete's Island is like where all these murders start happening. So just like that, like it's a funny setting for like all these fucked up murders to start happening, and you really don't know who the killer is. So it kind of plays like a movie like that. You know what I mean? But
do you like Broken Lizard?
You know, I think Club Dread. I mean, Super Troopers came out when I was like smoking a ton of pot in high school, so it's just
fair. That's fair.
It was like
never a
DVD,
Super Troopers guy.
It was the DVD
Farewell to
that was
Arms. A farewell to arms.
Isn't that amazing?
For those who are listening, he cuts his hand off and he puts some books over a bucket to hide it, and the book is Farewell to Arms, which is basically just Arrested Development.
Really great. But I liked Super Troopers. It was like the DVD that was on at every house party I was at for a few years of my life. And I do think Club Dread is a nice little film that they made, and I think maybe the returns weren't great or something. And with Beer Fest, it felt like really early to go back to that well a little bit, where it's like, oh, you like the weed movie, you want to see the beer movie, and it was enjoyable, and like, you know, like Cheech and Chong, I like all that stuff. But and then anything even beyond that, I think really I don't know. I think
as a kid to like it. I think I was just a pretentious little brat.
I think whether it's Club Dread or Super
Troopers, funny.
But like, I think with a movie like that, admittedly, like even as a fan of, I revisited Super Troopers recently. It's one of those ones where I told my wife, like, Super Troopers is funny as fuck, and you're watching it.
Yeah, okay. It doesn't quite hold up.
It's fine. It's
There's
just,
a few movies I'm afraid to rewatch because it's like they're okay.
And I'm not trying to knock it because I still watched the movie and had a good time, but then also I was like, oh, I never realized how long this movie is or something. You just never thought about that again when you were like, you know.
I showed someone Wayne's World 2 for the first time recently, and they'd never seen Wayne's World. I was like, dude, Wayne's World 2 is a laugh riot.
Yeah, but it doesn't start with a 10-minute recap of Wayne's World 1.
There's some slow stuff in Wayne's World 2. It's kind of an acquired taste.
Yeah, man. I think for a long time, you know, I was so confused as a kid, to be quite honest. I would read a lot of movie, even before websites, just like we had like Entertainment Weekly in my house or whatever. And there was just always that, like, people just always knocked sequels, you know, like sequels suck. And it was like the vibe. And maybe it was between like Evil Dead and Star Wars. I didn't really agree. Oh, guys are bled out of the wall.
I love that so much.
Just what more do you need?
Starts bleeding.
Yeah.
Dude, my cat is being such a dick right now.
But then it also too, so it's between that and then just accepting that sequels were just more of the thing you liked. Yeah. You know, and it's like, okay, so yeah, Terminator's incredible, but also it's just like, well, this whatever sequel, Ghostbusters 2 I see now isn't as good, but at the time you're just like, but it's like more Ghostbusters.
You know what I mean? You can't really complain. People who say that like some sort of movie is like ruins the first ones is not true.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that. I think the only claim the only claim
back in because he's gonna yell at me.
Oh, sure thing. I think the only like real good claim on that is like I literally like this is a really hacky complaint. You can't even watch A New Hope without the garbage in there now, right? The malarkey that's in there.
All right.
Well, Jeremy's wrangling his cat. It's being said T2 better than Terminator, and you can fight me. Now I think too. What I like about Terminator 2. I think you could say either of those and be, you know, it's a respectable opinion. I love those. Those two are my very favorite movies. Kind of like more than I remembered at them as a kid. When I go back and watch them now, I was like, dude, Terminator 1 plays like a fucking horror movie, kind of. You know, like the Terminator is the killer in that movie, and you're not all the way sure what's going on with it most of the way, and it just really
That's true. That is true.
He's stalking.
He's
Sarah
a Terminator.
Connor,
His name is the Terminator.
And it's like a spooky, like all the stories in there and stuff like that. But it was in T2, just like I don't think there's ever been a movie that does a better job of just like expanding a world and adding characters. Oh, so good. So good. But yeah, so there's all these good sequels. I think I grew up watching good sequels. Terminator, Star Wars, Evil Dead. I was really confused by the knock on sequels. And then after a while it was like I remember do you remember when
Sorry, I just laughed really hard at Ash dancing with the house.
Yeah, and that's great too. Just cupboards opening and closing and stuff. But do you remember, Jeremy, the first time you were like really, really disappointed by a movie in the movie theater? Did that seem like a major betrayal? Because it did to me.
A sequel or just a bad movie?
Just any movie, yeah, just a movie.
I mean, I told you about the time I got really mad watching Now You See Me. I think I've talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. But I was thinking more like
I gotta yell at my cat again. Just keep.
Yeah,
keep
go ahead.
going.
I'll tell my story as a kid. You know, again, like a new thing of your thing comes out, a new episode of your show, a new movie of your series. You don't really think, oh, I hope it doesn't suck dick when you're like a 7-year-old in the pajamas of Ninja Turtles or whatever. But Ninja Turtles 3, if anyone knows that terrible movie, and even by like kids movie sell toys and Pizza Hut standards, like Turtles 3 was like just a pile of piss, guys. I don't know.
Well, I came back and all I heard was a pile of piss.
I was talking about Ninja Turtles 3. I was in the movie theater, like the perfect, couldn't have been like the table set better for someone to be a fan of a thing. Like love Turtles 2, like 1 and 2, the show, the games, everything. And it was just like, it really was like, as a person, I was like, oh, so things I like can lay it down, huh? It was a very pivotal moment for a young pop culture dork kid like me.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you know what I mean? Where it's just like not even on your radar. Like you're so excited. Like a few weeks from now, the new Turtles comes out, and we go all the way to the theater and watch it. Like it being awful. Forget about it. No way.
Indiana Joe says, "Would you guys write an episode where would you guys do an episode where you write an Evil Dead Mario episode?" Yeah, I think I would 100% be down for that.
Oh my god. I mean, and I don't know.
Why would we not do that?
I don't know if Indiana Joe or you or anyone thought like of whether it should be animated or not, but my mind goes to live action because they never leave. So that's just sort of
just have it. I think it would be a funny I think writing the animated episodes are more fun than writing the live action.
I think so. Yeah, it could. Yeah,
just because you can have things happen in it.
Yeah. Of course, there are Star Wars prequels, but are prequels in general all worse than the originals? Are there any that are better than their originals? I think the Star Wars prequels are the first times they really started that trend, certainly, of like the prequel. I mean, I guess a lot of things like, you know, in hindsight, Evil Dead 2 is a prequel to Army of Darkness.
No,
but I think the question, right? But the question is like things that are put out as such.
That's prequels. Let me think. I mean, The Hobbit's famously bad.
I haven't seen the Thing remake, but I like that. Supposedly, I think that is supposed to end, and it ramps up to how the John Carpenter one starts, and it always had that cool beginning where it's like someone else's shit ending, and we're picking up with like the next people to catch the Thing. So that sounds interesting. I haven't seen it though, but that was just what I was thinking about.
Someone in the Porcupine Racetrack says Prometheus is not great. I agree
Prometheus
with that.
Into Alien Covenant, although you know Alien Covenant is definitely an alien movie with James Franco and Danny McBride in it, so there is, you know,
Temple of Doom. Fuck, I'm trying to think of like a good prequel movie, and I'm really struggling.
I know. X-Men Origins Wolverine. I'm kidding.
No, I mean, First Class isn't bad, but like
First Class was good, but that was more like a relaunch.
Yeah,
I think yeah. I don't know. Anyone in the chat got a good
Down there.
I want to think of it though. You know,
anyone listening to this as a podcast just want to scream it out in your car? I don't know. Sorry, we can't listen to you in real time.
Does some of Godfather 2 count as a prequel? Yeah, I think that's fair.
Flashbacks or prequels? I don't know.
Yeah, they're kind of flashbacks.
You know what I have high hopes for, and I say this sincerely, is
National Lampoon's Van Wilder freshman year.
Okay, now coming, I don't know when because it's a movie in the world right now, but the Many Saints of Newark is the Sopranos prequel movie.
That's true.
That's written and directed by David Chase, James Gandolfini's son playing Johnny Boy Soprano. Like, the stage is set for that to really be a special.
That'll be good. I don't know if this counts, but Wikipedia lists Fast and Furious, Fast 5, and Fast and Furious 6 all as prequels to Tokyo Drift.
because of what you actually went on
Yes,
about
I
this
did.
on the show
I won't do it
recently.
again.
Because of the character whose name I forget, death,
Han,
and then
yes.
them Han's death, who I was saying people need to go check out Better Luck Tomorrow. That's still
Sure.
that's my editor's pick. If we're like a video store, that's where my editor's pick is until I move it to something else. Not an editor, I would be like a clerk. Okay.
People in the chat are saying Wet Hot American Summer first day of camp. I do think that is very funny, but Wet Hot American Summer is my favorite movie ever, I think, and the TV show is just nowhere near as good as the movie, which I think is again what my favorite movie ever made. What do you think is the origin of the Necronomicon? Necronomicon is a song by Teenage Bottle Rocket.
That's funny. Yeah. I don't know. I remember though. I met. Sorry, forgive me. The reason I was confused about if, pardon me, Tom Savini was involved with this. I met Tom Savini at a comic convention years ago in Novi, Michigan, and I think maybe just through some gradual association or something, he had a lot of props from this movie there and stuff like that.
That's
but just
sick.
like, I don't think he. I was trying to look at his IMDb. Like he's.
Just real quick, Wikipedia and chat have confirmed that the Necronomicon is a Lovecraft
Oh, that makes sense. Sure.
concept.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, I don't see Savini as far as Evil Dead 2, but he was like Dawn of the Dead, which might be, by the way, Jeremy, my favorite horror movie. I think might be Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. I've never seen it.
The George Romero one. It definitely is one that I think probably has a better shot of you liking because it's definitely. There's definitely scares in it, but it's also definitely like
I like
movie. It's
scary. I hate jump scares.
It's not jump scary. It's just
I
like
fucking hate jump scares.
Dude, George Romero's like my favorite, one of my absolute favorite filmmakers, and just the fact that like Night of the Living Dead could be this parable for racism, and Dawn of the Dead can be this, zombies walking through a mall is not a subtle like metaphor in any way, shape, or form, but it's a really cool, like just a really cool movie, but also just has cool scenes and action and characters. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead. Also, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Holy shit!
I will add Dawn of the Dead to my Netflix or not my Netflix, my Letterboxd watch list.
Please do. I'd be curious what you think of it. It really. George Romero movies, I don't know if you've seen Night of the Living Dead either, but they play more like films about zombies. Maybe that sounds pretentious, but you know what I mean? It's not the rhythms of most horror movies, and I really like that a lot.
I like that stuff. The thing about jump scare, I wrote a joke about this many years ago that like kind of went a little viral on Reddit, but then I never told on stage. About how jump scares to me as a comedian feel like if I just like tickled everyone in the audience. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're not you're technically laughing, but you didn't say anything funny.
I used to do a line about tickling. I'd say as a comedian, I think tickling is bullshit. I think you should earn your laughs.
Yeah, that's the same idea. That's what a jump scare is.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, for sure. As one just happened in the Evil Dead 2, a good fake out. What do you think though about like a comedic fake out one that can be used as a bit to like cut the tension or something?
I hate them. I really don't like them.
Yeah, okay.
I find them frustrating. I like
the fake out is
I don't dislike scary movies, but they're just too much. I don't love being scared. Not a big fan of being scared.
This is me with games too, and then of course it gets to that age-old thing of like you just like a cat jumping into the frame while I'm anticipating something or not anticipating something, and that's not like suspense is the idea.
Well,
to hold a sustained amount of suspense is really the trick, not to just go blah, like, oh yeah, well you got me, but it's gone now.
Have you seen Hereditary?
I have, yes.
Do you like Hereditary? I liked Hereditary very much, but I did not enjoy watching it.
It was, I mean, talk about a movie too, and I think maybe more than anything, horror is a genre that like originality is just like such a currency, and just it's like I've seen so many of like the same horror movies. I feel like but yeah, so that just definitely went places that I had no. By the end, I like that it fucking went somewhere you would even like halfway through that movie, you'd probably never guess where it was ultimately going. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I appreciate that.
I think anyone should watch it if they haven't seen it, but I will tell you, I did not enjoy watching it.
Yeah, I have a funny story about a jump scare I'd like to tell really quick here.
I would love to hear that. We got half the movie to go.
I don't like jump scares. I don't like them. I can handle horror movies, but I think the reason I'm so like traumatized by the notion of playing scary video games or anything is like the jump scare. I'm startle prone. You know what I mean?
I agree. It's not fun.
But like we probably my girlfriend at the time, my wife now Taylor, regardless, we went to see Get Out, the amazing movie Get Out in the movie theater. Great movie. Pretty early on, it's about this fateful trip to the girl's parents' place or whatever. Do you remember that they're driving and they hit a deer?
Yes.
I've like hit a deer in my life, and that's
Sure.
scary. And also, I'm just from scared. So it's not like it's like kind of a thing, but I literally in a quiet but full theater.
When you hit the deer in real life, were you like, fucking jump scares?
A little bit. I will. That was a weird story too. That was just sucked, but like I was good. But the deer happened, and in a quiet theater, I was the one guy that went like not even like sustained like, do it in public, like just like I would do it just out, and then I was so embarrassed, and Taylor laughed so much, and rightfully so. I mean, I laughed too. It was just like not this fucking, just like a sort of a half moment on the way to the movie. You know what I mean? Just like that one. Yeah. That was rough. That was rough. Yeah. I like the Deadites have the green blood.
Yeah, they're all fucked up.
Check back in on the film. It's getting gross.
They're good, dude. It's a good. Deadites are nastier zombies. They're faster, they're smarter, and they're meaner. They're like, zombies don't really talk much. They say brains a lot. Deadites will like insult you.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. There's a whole thing too. I like that they came up with new bits. That's the thing about Army Darkness is medieval and all that, but they do have like the hand and the mirror bit in Evil Dead 2. It kind of makes way in Army Darkness. He's got like the other ash head coming out of his shoulder, and there's just like two heads fighting each other. Like in the same body. That's exciting.
My cat has left. People are upset that Milo has walked away to try to eat the cactus behind me, which is not smart. If you're a cat, bad idea.
How's that? Is that? Yeah. Oh, it's not the prickliest cactus I've ever seen though. Huh?
It's not. Well, he's trying to eat the dead plant behind it, but there's a cactus too that he's kind of just like
I see.
sticking around.
Is that gonna work out okay for him?
No, I mean it's not.
Prickle.
He needs to learn. He needs to learn his lesson. Now he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll just not enjoy it. Like it'll be like me watching Hereditary.
That's right. There is a bit that I do understand that. That's me with it. There's two things that give me the specific feeling, and I suspect it's you with movies like Hereditary. And it's like when I play scary video games, and it also reminds me. I was thinking about this recently for whatever reason. It's like I used to like smoke a lot of weed and go to class in like high school, and it's just like, why am I doing this? I don't like this.
I think we should make you play Amnesia. I really do.
Oh my god, dude! They just
that idea.
Do you know what they just did? They just put all that EA Play games came onto Game Pass.
Okay.
And now I stare at Dead Space.
Dude, I really think we should
traumatized
do a stream.
me.
I really, really think we should do a stream where you play Amnesia, which I think is, again, not very many jump scares in Amnesia. It's just creepy.
What is that? Is that on the PC there? It's I can play it on my personal computer?
Yeah, it's an old game. It's probably really cheap.
Okay.
Let me see how much money Amnesia is.
Oh, I'm not. I mean, hey, look, I'm good.
No, I'm just like for people who want to play it. I'm saying. Like, I feel like for me, if I see a game is like $5.
Yes.
Oh, it's like $20. Okay, but still.
Is there a collection? I feel like there's that one you see.
Yes, but they're not worth. I wouldn't play the next one.
Okay.
I don't like the sequel is made by a different company. I think is not very fun. Machine for Pigs. And the third one I haven't played. It just came out, but I've heard it's much more tedious than the original.
Oh, I didn't even know.
It's more of like a puzzle game.
Okay, interesting. I've played Outlast a little bit. That game is that's a scary one.
Yeah.
Outlast, Dead Space. My wife played a lot of the Alien one, which looks just that was like I had trouble watching that one. That one looked intense. What was the one? I can't think of the name of it. The game. Resurrection, Isolation, Terra Beta. What is it? I don't know.
Amnesia is, I believe, it is the first big game to do. Oh, someone's Porcupine Racetrack saying it's called Isolation. I think Amnesia is the first big horror game that doesn't let you fight back. So you don't get any weapons. All you can do is hide.
Yeah. I think the very first Silent Hill, I remember playing that, and there's just a lot of running. I don't know if that was the idea or. Oh, we're being asked thoughts on Event Horizon. Recently watched that one as well. It was fun to watch as a 40K fan.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know the 40K connection, truthfully, but I will say, Jeremy, do you want to guess what year that movie came out in?
1997?
It's pretty fucking good. It came out in 1997.
Okay, can we just do this pitch on the podcast? Can we talk about this?
Let's just. We're 49 minutes into this film. We have to talk about something.
Yeah, say it.
Oh, by the way, Bruce Campbell's covered in blood, and there's people trying to get him.
I want you to say this because I think that we should put it out there so people start.
I'll float an idea.
Because I think that if it's good idea, if you put out a good idea online, people will start bugging you about it. Like, hey, where is this? You said
okay, but I'm going to say this.
Where is it?
I'm going to say this too. It's also rare if I talk about it, it's going to be out there for the Steelins too. You know,
It'll be out there, but I think people want to hear a Mark Roebuck.
I'm on the
version
record.
of
At least.
this.
There's always that. Okay. So, anyways, the idea for the podcast would just be a film podcast where, you know, God help me, I talk about film on a different podcast. And the title, the thesis as well, is the title of the show is "Every Movie from 1997 is Good," which is something I've grown to believe.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory is a strong
Let's
word.
go through the list. Let's start talking 1997. We don't have to talk about everyone, but let's just like list the names of them at least.
Yeah, like just I mean
Okay.
the top money makers were Titanic, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, Men in Black, Toronto, Air Force One. I'm just gonna skip some good ones. My Best Friend's Wedding, The Fifth Element, The Full Monty, fucking
Con Air.
Con Air. I have a document. So yeah, Con Air, Anaconda, Face Off, Good Will Hunting, LA Confidential, Jackie Brown, Boogie Nights,
Princess Mononoke,
Wag the Dog, the aforementioned Event Horizon, Starship Troopers.
So End of Evangelion is on that, and I this week in between since last episode I have binge watched all of Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I've heard that the End of Evangelion is a amazing movie.
Well, shit, I better, you know, if the show happens, I'll have to do my homework. But before that, I got my list. Before
Starship
that,
Troopers is 97.
I'll talk about Starship Troopers, Contact, Batman and Robin, The Devil's Advocate,
Spawn,
Austin Powers, the Star Wars Special Editions, Jackie Chan's First Strike.
Did we say Alien Resurrection yet?
I mean, interesting things too, like
Perfect Blue, Satoshi
Good Burger,
Anastasia.
No, but yeah. So I don't know. That's the idea, I guess.
Yeah, dude.
There's also just like some undersung movies from that year as well.
Good Burger.
Things like Breakdown with Kurt Russell, The Spanish Prisoner.
Yeah, I think you should do it. I think that you should do the podcast, and I think I should come on for maybe Starship Troopers.
Whatever you want, man. Whatever you want. You're the one pushing this along.
I think that everybody who's listening to this should tweet at Mark, when are you going to do your 1997 podcast? Until he has to. Until there's so much demand, he has to do it.
But what is the show? What is the format? What do you
every
do?
episode you watch one movie and discuss it.
I have a different guest on, and then it becomes a thing.
Not?
I'm always finding people now.
Well, you know, it doesn't have to be like you gotta have like famous people. Get a bunch of hard drive writers and shit.
No, but then it's just a thing, isn't it? Now I just have a new thing.
That is the problem. It's just more homework. You have the thing about like we got tired of watching episodes of Mario every episode, but you'd have to watch a movie a week. But at least they're good movies.
They are good movies. And I don't know, maybe it's the kind of specific enough thing you take a swing on some weird thing. And like, you know, obviously some things have been talked about, but you know, if you track down someone who worked on a movie like, hey, I'm going to talk about Addicted to Love with Matthew Broderick and Meg Ryan. You know, you worked on that. Do you want to talk about that? Maybe it's more likely than, you know, trying to get Harrison Ford on or something.
I think
I would like to get Harrison Ford on.
If you get Harrison Ford on, I'd like to think you'd have him talk about Mario on our podcast.
Harrison Ford would talk about Mario. Yeah, I would like that.
I think we'd get him on and be like, listen, we don't want to hear about your movies. We want to hear you talk about episode 6 of The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3.
It's one of these weird podcasts, huh? That's what it say.
No, he's into it. The whole time Harrison Ford is like, yeah, I really like Toad.
Yeah. I forget where I saw it, some talk show or something. I think Mark Hamill told my favorite Harrison Ford story is where Mark Hamill, they're making the scene where they're in like the Death Star garbage, you know, like the dumpster, the trash compactor, and they get out or something, and then Mark Hamill's like, hey, shouldn't our hair be wet because it was like wet in the scene before? And Harrison Ford goes, it's not that kind of movie, kid. It's kind of just like, who gives a shit?
We just watched the big tree scene in the movie.
Which is the thing, you know, we talked about, had we done one, which we did put it up to a vote, we were going to have to, there's a scene in there that, I don't know, maybe, I'm talking about how nice it was, so we didn't have to talk about it, therefore talking about it.
I think it's worth saying. I mean, The Evil Dead 1, I think, is one of my favorite movies ever, but there is a scene in it where there's like a weird like tree rape scene that is legitimately very, very scary and affecting. But it's like a little too much, and I think even Sam Raimi was like, I wish we didn't do that in the movie. Like, we didn't have to go that far. And in this one, he kind of redoes it in a way that's less, I don't know, like intense. But
I think so. I think, you know, it's like maybe there's a lot of things. I think to me, if you make something like a movie, like a full length movie, there, you know, like a movie,
you know, like a
commercial, a book, anything like that, you know. Maybe
I
a
should put the
sandwich. I don't know.
cam back on.
Christ, Mark. But no, I just wonder. There's inevitably going to be things that you wish you would like get another crack at. So he maybe gets a rare one here. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the scene in the first one, but it's definitely like a little bit of a sore spot on the movie because it's like a little much.
It's like fucked up though, and I
It
mean,
is fucked up.
dude. And that was the thing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not my place to like justify or make excuses for someone else's shit, but like horror movies in the 70s and 80s were this like fucked up arms race of like who could make the rapiest, cringiest thing. And I don't like that. I'm not saying it's cool or anything, but
Mark,
I just
thumbs up from Mark Robot.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't look at. There's things like movies and other things that sometimes have things happen in them, and I don't think that's my statement today. Is that it's not
my god! I just realized we forgot to do Toad voice reviews.
We can do that.
Should we do it now or should we wait?
No, let's do it.
Okay.
I do like that this guy gets a little unhinged. Their sort of hillbilly friend that at once upon a time was like along for the ride, I think, and he's like, "This is fucked up. Me and Bobby Joe got to leave," and that's classic horror movie stuff because we got to start killing these people off now. You know.
Yeah, I know a handful of people who would just. So someone said Last House on the Left is a hard watch because of that. I know a handful of people who just won't watch any movies that have like a horrifying rape scene because it's just too much. And
it's like a genre, like the revenge-y sort of thing. Yeah. Sometimes it's a murder, sometimes it's a whole rape. There's, you know.
All right, we have 3 reviews. Should we read them?
Yeah.
Toad's Voice, you ready for this?
Reminding all of our viewers and listeners and watchers and paisanos, we read our reviews
on iTunes.
In the voice of Toad.
Yeah, you gotta. So we're taking a break from the movie. It's still playing, to be clear. We're still watching it.
Hey, Evil Dead 2, vamp for us. Okay.
You ready?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm sorry. Yeah, thanks for your patience.
Okay, I'm gonna do the first one. You ready?
Okay.
This is Spin to Win, and the caption is, "I genuinely love Super Mario Bros. Super Show," which I think they mean the original show, not our podcast. To be clear,
it is a 5-star review though, so who knows?
Yes.
Right? I'm just saying.
I grew up with this show ever since Netflix became a thing, and I absolutely loved it as a child. I still love it, and now there's a added bonus of finding all the weird animation errors and parody references. Thank you for talking about these shows, and it really makes me wonder what the others are like. By the way, didn't Vinny Vinesauce say he would do a Captain N podcast if you started covering it? He was really interesting, and I hope you can get him back.
Jeremy, that was amazing.
That was the worst Toad I've ever done.
No, but your effort. Your effort.
Oh, God.
Okay, I go next here. This is from
You ready?
Curios03. Kyrios. Toad of the Beginning. A 5-star review. Your choice now will turn the course of fate. Continue down this path and there shall be no turning back. You will have to fight until the bitter end. Until the world has died in your image, dude. Thank you. That one was written with that was really, really well done. That's one of the best ones we've had. Thank you for that.
That was really fun.
That fucking rules.
And then this last one is from Zombie Batman Jesus, who we teased a little bit for giving us bad rating when we changed up the podcast.
You know, we just get on here and goof around.
I don't know what their gender is. They changed theirs to a 5-star rating. I think after realizing that the podcast obviously is not very different. I really hope we didn't bully you into it. I feel a little bad about it. But
well, let's just let the review tell the tale here.
Okay.
I do love it.
So the original one was bummer change of pace, and we teased it a little bit. So now it's killer change of pace, and it's
my mom made me change the review score because she felt bad that Vice didn't like Mark's Black Stanley article.
Boy,
which is very.
There was a lot in there.
I don't remember Vice not liking it, but that's very.
I didn't think. Yeah,
I remember. I didn't.
I don't want to relive
with
it.
Vice, and they asked me what articles had negative responses or people thought were offensive.
Oh, okay.
And I think
okay.
I named that one.
Got it. So Vice did report as by way of you. Vice quoted you on that or something.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for all the reviews as always. We appreciate all of them, and I appreciate everyone who listens to this podcast.
Absolutely.
If you want to say something stupid, like
cool.
we're fucking Cameo, you can just put it on there, and we'll say it as Toad.
Free
Cameo.
Cameo.
It's not crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we just made this up, so we reserve every single right to say no, we're not going to do that one. That is,
Yeah, that makes me. It just says like Jeremy's Social Security. What the hell?
Yeah. It's not that it wouldn't be funny either, but you got to understand why we can't broadcast that. That's all.
Yes, it's just against the rules. So for those who are tuning back in, Ash is now a Deadite, which is pretty sweet.
It's a cool. They just keep flip flopping things. You know, you got your characters.
Well,
and,
you watch the movie and you think
different.
Ash is a badass. He's killing everybody. He's fucking everybody up. He just rules. What's the scariest thing we can do now that Ash is so fucking cool? Make him one of those zombie guys. So now the girl.
And also puts you in this position where it's just like, okay, well, there's these characters, but like they're not Ash. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't know what I'm rooting for.
Don't care who these characters are.
Once Ash is the bad
Ash
guy,
killing them.
I'm Joe, so I can't write a 5-star review saying the election was stolen.
You absolutely can.
That's in bounds. I mean, we're willing to play ball. If I could do a sports here, it's in bounds.
Don't know
we'll play
what that
ball.
means.
It's Jeremy when you play cricket. Let me get into a weird one here.
Dude, I love that dagger she has. It's so fucking cool.
Very ceremonious.
The effects they have in this, just the props rather, are just very.
It's like
cool
the
props.
last dagger that you ever think is going to stab through denim.
That's true. That is true.
You know,
it does not look like it's going to make it through that.
Through the bellies of someone's overalls. Some dirty farm guy.
Not a great 70s.
No,
dagger.
right.
What year did this come
When
out?
that was forged in the fires of hell, they were like, yes. A fine
What year
denim
is this?
shall cut.
The Evil
This
Dead
film?
original one is 1981. So what is the Evil Dead 2?
This is 87.
87.
Because I think they did a movie called Crime Wave in between that I've never seen. That that the Coens I
Yes,
think
you're
wrote
right.
and he directed.
It was a failure.
It was a failure, and I think they sort of like, well, I think in this case, Sam Raimi went back to Evil Dead 2
He
and
was like,
found
what? I'll
some
just
footage
do
there.
Evil Dead again. People like that one.
Yeah, Stephen King's fucking up all night calling me. He wants to tell me about Evil Dead and read me passages from some book he wrote in the middle of the night. It's like, it's a car this time. Listen, it's a car this time. But yeah, and the Coen Brothers, they did okay for themselves too.
The Coen Brothers?
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're doing
good.
all right. They're doing their
I
thing.
like Ethan. I like Ethan a lot. No, I'm kidding. Who's got a favorite Coen brother?
Isn't Joel doing the next one by himself?
I thought he is doing Macbeth or something, right?
Yeah, I think he's doing it
And
by
I did-
himself. I think Ethan's taking a break.
Years ago, I read Ethan's book of short stories, so they have done a few things here and there. His short stories are really cool, just like
I
very
believe
Coen Brothers-esque
Macbeth-
little noir
Sorry.
stories and shit. No,
That sounds cool. I might check that out.
it was good.
I believe Macbeth is the first solo Coen brother movie.
That makes sense. It's like they've always been for a long time. They credited Joel, but I guess it's just famously hard to get double
Yeah.
credit for directors.
I
But
believe that's how
everyone
it
has always said like, yeah, the brothers just like do the thing together.
I think that my understanding is the early movies that they would say Joel directed and they would say like Ethan produced.
and they
then
wrote together.
And then
Yeah.
the editor was a made up person.
Yeah, that's right. Roderick Janes, which is them as well. That's so funny. They're the coolest. All these
Very
cool
cool.
Midwest people, they just have, like I said, it's a little bit of whatever, like pride of the region or whatever, stupid shit. But also it is just like maybe just this sort of
Yeah.
alternative approach or upbringing or, like whatever it is, sensibility that you bring with you from, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a different, they got a similar vibe.
Mm-hmm.
What if the Coen brothers were just born a few decades later and they put out like the coolest crime themed Midwest emo band?
That would be cool. I could see that. A band? They're playing music though?
They're an emo band. They're doing like twinkly emo music.
That'd be something. They'd have to meet some more people probably. Unless
And
they'd
they're
be like,
kinda
they might be
yelling
giants,
a
a
little
duo.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
I stole this gem. Sorry. Okay.
We have a geyser blood coming out of the basement now, which I love. This movie does like, like
two behind you.
you talk about, using every part of the buffalo. Like this set they have, there's scenes in every room and every, the basement is a thing for they go outside the house, inside the house.
Yeah.
The garage has a whole ordeal. And it never feels, oh, is something else going to happen or
Dude,
something.
rent
you know
a
what I mean?
fucking cabin.
Fuck
Get
it,
some
yeah.
cameras. Rent
Dude,
a cam. You can make this
for
movie
real.
on an iPhone in a cabin. Get your
think
friend who
it's-
makes making goofy faces.
Some effects, some camera tricks. Really, there's a lot of camera effects that are done. Yeah, and also this is like a, if you're gonna make a movie these days, the cabin in the wood is an easier, keep a small crew, that kind of thing. In the interest of safety, is what I mean.
I mean, that's what happened. We had, the guys who made, what is that movie called that we watched for our podcast with Josh Rubin?
Scare Me.
Scare Me. They did a movie that was a cabin in the woods, and
Yeah.
they said it was dope.
Yeah. You know, too, we're talking about horror comedy. I feel like a Cabin Fever might be a bit of a guilty pleasure territory for me, but it definitely it swings at a lot of pitches and it definitely hits some of them.
I remember not liking Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, I like that one. I like that. It's like a sketch, as you know,
Yes.
it's a premise of a sketch, but I like that it's drawn out and maybe a bit long for me at the end is my recollection. But I definitely there's a few deaths that are like
I can't say I don't like horror comedy when I love this movie so much.
right.
I love it, and I also love Cabin in the Woods. So I mean,
is it
those
weird?
are two.
Right.
What
But
were you
hey, it's
saying?
like anything else. Like you like good stuff, right? You like the shit
dude.
you like.
I like shit that's good.
My favorite stuff is my favorite stuff.
To me, the three movies: Evil Dead 2, Cabin in the Woods, Batman Ninja, the animated movie. Those are my three.
Those are just three movies or the three?
Those are the three for me, baby.
But the three, like, what's this list?
That's the three.
Greatest films of all time? It was what,
Three movies.
this RoboCop? Did you put RoboCop on there?
RoboCop's a good movie.
I like Bruce when he says, "I'm all right."
It really is like I just don't think this movie would exist without Bruce Campbell.
No, there's no way. It's hard to imagine it without him.
It really is a
someone else
collaboration
in there.
between the
Yeah.
two of them.
Mm-hmm.
I forget how long it takes for him to get the chainsaw.
Yeah, it almost could happen earlier. As I'm saying this impatiently, it's fine. It's a perfectly
No,
fine
it's
movie, but
cool. I just
the
it's
chainsaw
like
on the arm.
one of
it's-
those things that's like iconic, I think. And
It really is like buckling up for the big showdown. Here we go. It's a great like. Okay, I got a chainsaw for the arm. Oh, it's coming here, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm behind you. I think my computer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I
okay,
think my
yeah.
computer is bad.
What
and
do you
I
see
think
right now?
that I just have he's in the room with the girl and there's a clock behind them.
Oh, okay.
She said, "If we're gonna beat that thing, we need this we need those pages." I think that my computer's really bad and it plays videos slowly
Oh, okay.
because it's like can't handle it. Whenever I watch Twitch streams, after like half an hour, they're very delayed.
Oh, I see. I see.
I need to get a real computer. I'm gonna get a
I'll
real
pause it.
computer, and then this podcast is gonna be sick. He just opened the door to the cabin.
Tell me when he's. I pause it. Tell me when he says groovy, and I'll unpause it.
Okay,
Tell me if this
okay.
isn't like the coolest fucking hero moment I've ever.
It really
seen.
is. When he says groovy, it fucking rules. He like builds the little thing, and it's like a fucking Wes Anderson montage of him making the chainsaw.
It's
You
a
know what
quick
I mean?
yeah, it's a quick montage, and like I forgot about this little touch, and he puts it on. So he's got a hand, like he looks so cool. He's got a chainsaw and a fucking shotgun, and the very first piece of action he does is
Yes.
use the chainsaw to cut the shotgun's barrel off.
It's so fucking cool.
And then he says, "Did he say it yet?"
No, he's about to though.
Fuck yeah! Say it with him.
Groovy.
Tight.
That fucking ode. Oh man, now this fucking tree's coming to life.
The trees are coming to life. That's what. How do we do that on the iPhones, Jeremy? When we get to the tree scenes,
Oh,
we're out there.
That's a miniature. That's probably
just-
a
what are we
guy.
gonna-
That's a
You're
guy's
gonna paint
hand.
me brown. What are you
Paint
gonna
your
paint me
hand.
brown?
You paint your hand and you just put it close to the camera.
Close to the camera. That's so smart.
That's how you fucking do that, dude. My whole aesthetic as a comedian, whenever I make any videos or animations, my aesthetic is it's bad on purpose. And what people don't
Yeah.
get, or they do really, but they don't care, is that that's just the limit of my ability as an animator.
Right. Which is fair.
Indiana Jones says it's
No.
Patrick Dempsey in a costume.
No, that'd be amazing.
There's only one way to find out. We tweet at him.
I mean, do you think? I don't know. There's
What?
a good chance that we're just like blocked by Patrick Dempsey, and we're just like
No, we would be
yelling
able
into
to-
the air,
we
right?
would be
Or
able
would we
to
know
say.
that? Okay, I don't know how it works. No one's ever blocked me before. I don't know. How
No
it
one's ever blocked you ever?
works. No, people follow me. Like
People block me
all-
all the time. People get
No,
mad at me
I'm
online a lot.
I'm sure I've been blocked. I don't know. I just don't take any shots. I don't
That's
know.
fair.
I just make my jokes.
That's fair.
I tell my jokes and I move on.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think I've been blocked unfairly before, but who's to say?
I mean, yeah. Do you think you've been blocked fairly before?
Probably.
Sorry to hear, man.
I'd block me. I'd block me.
Oh my god.
Why does he always call the gun the boomstick? It's such a weird choice, and I love it.
It's yeah. Again, on paper, I don't know how that.
It would be kind of
like
it's
someone
kinda
else doing
lame.
it.
It's kind of cringy
Imagine-
if someone else does it.
Harrison Ford goes, "All right, this is my boomstick."
Yeah, you'd be like, Actually, no. Harrison Ford's cool enough. He could pull it off, I think.
Harrison Ford is he's the opposite. He brings the low energy cool to everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Where he just always feels like he could be somewhere else and that'd be fine by him. So what is he in the guts of the house now? He's in the walls?
Yeah, he's in like the basement or the walls or some shit.
I love it. Hey, do you know what I want to say is an underrated modern horror comedy?
What?
The Visit, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Visit.
Oh, is that good?
I loved it, dude. It's
never seen
really
it.
I just really like we went and saw it and it caught me off guard. I like I don't like every single film in the genre, but I do like a good found footage movie. It's sort of like one of the more modern horror genres, you know. And it's just M. Night Shyamalan doing something that he's never really done. It's a found footage thing. It's kind of a comedy. Again, it's not every single thing works, but it's really one that one scene will be very intense and then the next scene will be very funny. And it's I don't know. Then after that, he made Split, and everyone's like, "Oh, he made a comeback." And I don't mean to be Mr. Contrarian boy here, but I was like, "Dude, The Visit was like the shit."
That's really funny. I have not seen The Visit. I'm curious what people said on like, Metacritic or whatever.
Yeah, and then do you know the premise? It's like a scary premise of like something else. Something else came out around the same time that was just about like, what if the old people were the scary thing, But I forget what the other one was.
That's cool. I'm Joe. Your Creek in the Cave tweet made me laugh because my last memory of that place is doing drugs in the bathroom, looking at the pictures on the wall and thinking, I don't know any of these people. Yeah, I mean, so just for people listening, the Creek in the Cave is a comedy venue in New York City that was around for the last 15 years, and today it was announced that they were closing their doors forever due to COVID-19. And it's sort of a bittersweet thing because it's a weird venue.
But they had hosted Hard Drive before, right?
They had hosted Hard Drive, and we stopped doing our show there because they were gonna have like T.J. Miller come on after us, and he had just been like outed as like kind of like a weird like sexual predator kind of guy, and we were like, I don't want to do this, and we stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But they used to have
guns were stuck to.
Yeah. There used to be in their bathroom. They had photos of all of these like famous comedians doing stand up at the venue. And I put this in a tweet, but for years I always wanted to just tape up a photo of myself, like just for fun. And I was too scared to do it. I never. Do you know?
It. Oh man, that you remind me. For years, when I was doing stand up, my home club, as they say, was in Lansing, Michigan, called Connections Comedy Club, and they had the standard thing. There was like the whole bar and like the other room that you could sit at before or after the show.
Yeah.
And they had all the 8x10 headshots of all the comedians that had played there, and you'd see people that you recognize, but it's like a younger picture of them because it's like when whoever Drew Carey or someone was just starting. And you'd see all these people like, people you wouldn't even necessarily always realize. So I just thought it'd be so funny to push that and just like find a young headshot of like Anthony Hopkins or Daniel Day-Lewis or something.
That's really funny. That's a smarter joke.
Take Paula Poundstone down and put.
That's a much smarter joke than just me taping a picture of myself to the fucking bathroom wall of the Creek in the Cave in Long Island City.
Yeah.
That's very funny. Yeah.
Just wonder if people would really ever be like, I didn't know Willem Dafoe did stand-up comedy or something. The youngest picture you can find of them.
Some great stop motion going on right now in the Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, there's some creatures. Oh, the Swallow Your Soul guy. That's great. I love it.
He's like all neck. He's got like a 3-4 foot neck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you have the closed captions on?
I don't. I will put them on though.
Oh, it just said monkey-like screeching.
Now that there's 10 minutes left, I'll put it on.
Are you on Hulu?
Share this joy with you. Yeah. That's funny. The monkey-like screeching. Oh, she serenades it. That's adorable.
You have to love the monsters.
He's got this giant neck. You'd think, oh, dude, what a primo thing. I've got a chainsaw for a hand, but he just couldn't quite close on it,
Yeah.
Do you know what this reminds me of, too? It's amazing. Spider-Man 2 is, like, such a great movie.
Yes.
The Doc Ock scene that completely just feels like it's just the movie becomes Evil Dead for a minute. Do you remember when he becomes Doc Ock and like the arms just chase all these doctors and kind of like it's pretty gnarly for a PG-13, but a lot of the deaths happen off screen, but you see it in like shadows and it's just really like it's very obviously the Sam Raimi Marvel stuff was a lot more like restrained and less off the rail.
People die in those movies though. I remember as a kid being kind of scared of the original Spider-Man, which I have a poster of right in front of me. Because Green Goblin would like disintegrate people, and it scared me.
Yeah,
I found that frightening in 2002.
Not to mention there was that first trailer. That's a weird thing too.
What's that?
There's
Oh,
that Twin
the
Towers
9/11
bit
thing?
with the
Well, that's what
spider web?
I. That's the poster.
Is that what's your poster?
That?
That's what I thought. Yeah, I think that's why it was in my head, is because I was
Mm.
wondering. So your poster is like the web in the Twin Towers?
No, my grandma was a movie. Her job was that she would decide where movies would go, like how they would get distributed to theaters, which is a really great job if you
So like
can't
on behalf
help
of
your
one
grandson.
like she worked for one studio and was like,
She
hey,
worked for like some company that just like helped decide where movies were distributed. I should ask her about it more one day.
yeah, man, let's get her on the show.
I would love to.
Has
She's
she
very,
listened?
No, she's an incredibly not bitter, but she's like a cranky, mean woman. I love her.
You earn the right. At a certain age, you earn the right, I think, right?
What do you mean?
To be a little bitter and cranky. It's not necessarily like
I don't know. I just like her. She's crazy.
no one likes a cranky 36-year-old Mark Roebuck, I don't think.
She's just like really.
But
She's kind of like
you're
a
like-
pretentious old New Yorker. You know what I mean?
Okay. This is all making me want to talk to her, but maybe
She's great.
I don't
Like
know.
she was never really taught. Like anytime you tell her about a movie, she's like, "Yeah, I saw that. It's not good.
No.
In the end, he's dead." And you're like, "I was gonna see that," and she's like, "Everyone knows that." And you're like, "All right."
Now, was she in the biz in 1997? I gotta ask.
Oh, absolutely. She retired
could be
maybe
really
less
relevant.
than 10 years ago, I think.
Okay.
She only
wonderful.
retired when she in her 70s because her boss died.
Oh. Wow.
Anyway, she got me this poster of Spider-Man before the movie came out. She gave me this poster because I guess I like Spider-Man, and it's of the Twin Towers in Spider-Man's eye, reflected in his eye.
God.
And then obviously they recalled all of those posters after 9/11.
Yeah, because it was like the summer before or something, or you're like the summer of 01 or something.
Well, the movie came out in 2002, so May 2002.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, do you know I graduated high school that very month?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No one cared. They all want to talk about Spider-Man. I was like, hello. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No one in my family cared.
Anyway, I have this Spider-Man poster. I also have it's not hanging up right now, but I have like a signed Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon poster from her. That's from Ang Lee.
Signed by your grandmother?
Yeah.
Jeremy, sorry, no card this year. Happy birthday.
That's very funny. Anyway, the tree's coming into the house, which is great.
No, but who
Using
signed the
your
poster? Ang Lee?
Ang Lee signed it.
Oh,
Says,
nice,
thank you
nice.
for all your support. I don't think she knows Ang Lee, though, so I don't know what the support is.
That's cool. That's a good one.
It sounds like one of those things where you're like, oh, Jeremy should be famous. His grandma works in the movie industry.
Mhm.
Didn't help me out. The only thing I ever got was free tickets to a movie theater.
Pretty good. I mean, it's something.
Yeah, I watched
Not
a lot
quite
of
fame and
movies.
fortune.
It was my movie pass as a kid.
Dude, right? I worked in a movie theater from late 2002, right after high school, or the winter after high school, until early 2004. So that's like this weird period of film that I know them all. Because I literally by then I was like in a projection
That's
booth.
really
and
funny.
Yeah. Oh my god, damn.
Oh, also,
You know,
Porcupine Racetrack, real quick, just said, damn, that's a sick gift. It was not a gift, to be clear. My grandma was throwing it away. And my dad was like, I'll take that. And then it was in his attic for like 10 years. And then I took it.
Wow. So what does the autograph say again?
It says, thank you for all your support, Ang Lee.
I think Ang Lee would, he'd like that he gave you that message,
Yeah.
even if inadvertently, knowing
I
all
agree.
the facts.
It's a good movie.
It's a cool movie, yeah.
Crouching Tiger? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, China and Fat. The Wire work was big for a few years.
It's sick.
Iron Monkey. Did you ever see that movie? Holy
No.
fuck. It's so good. I bet I look it up and it came out in 97. Watch this. You fucking watch this.
I'm so excited.
Oh, shit. 93 and 96.
Oh, that sucks.
I bet they dubbed it and it came to America in 97. I'm not going to look it up.
Oh, man. Well, I missed it. Does Ash's hair turn gray? Yeah, Ang Lee is the Hulk movie guy. Also underrated. Hulk movie rules.
A very eclectic filmography, dare I say it. I don't know if you tell me like, oh yeah, I felt like an Ang Lee movie. I would know what the fuck you were talking about.
That's true. He's made a lot of weird ones.
He did the Ice Storm is his 97 opus.
Oh yeah, people like that one though.
Yeah, dude, for real, it's a good one. Telling you, this 97 shit, it's annoying, but
I think it's
true.
a good idea. I think you should do it. It's a good
And
idea,
then,
and I stand by it.
But he did that one too. He did like, what's the tiger on the raft movie? The Life of Pi.
Oh yeah. He did Life of Pi.
He did Gemini Man, which looks
did.
shitty, and I'm excited to watch that soon. It looks like I think it's shitty, right?
I mean, it's like a technological feat. Is my understanding of it.
Sure, love a technological feat.
But I think it's something you had to see.
I've seen 8 other
theaters.
movies do it, right? Isn't it just that they have like a young version of
No,
himself?
it was like they used like some like new technology or something.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. It's one of those things you're supposed to like see in a theater that plays it in like 100 frames per second or some bullshit.
Oh Christ! You gotta watch the Blu-ray on your Series X.
Yeah. Anyway,
Which
fucking
wasn't-
Ash is in the Middle Ages now.
Oh
For
yeah.
the last 5
now
minutes
he's
of this movie.
now he's Ash. Get it? Because he's covered in.
No, yeah, that's good. I like
Ash. That was good. I should have
I
said
do
that.
like
Right?
it.
His hair is great now. He got Polly Walnut's
He
hair.
does
on the
have
side
Polly
now.
Walnut's hair.
He got the wings in.
You hear that? You hear that, Deadite?
Do you know what?
I said groovy.
My favorite Polly thing, my wife and I say a lot. There's one where him and Tony go out on a thing, and Tony's like, they're driving. Tony's like, "Hey, you want to stop and get some food or something?" It's pretty basic, and then Polly goes, "Hey, now you're fucking talking." Such a good Polly thing. Now you're fucking
Oh
talking.
man. Anyway, yeah, the end of this movie, there's like gargoyles and like 50 fucking men on horseback. Like, I wonder if this is the most expensive scene of the movie.
Dude, it really might be. It's really there's because you get creatures, you get a headshot. There's like out in the middle of nowhere, riding around on horses and everything.
And yes, Ang Lee did Brokeback Mountain, which is a great movie. So I've heard. I've always wanted to see it.
It's interesting that again, what I was saying before is that like Army of Darkness feels like it almost like I don't want to say shouldn't like it like I didn't like it, but it's just like almost it's a hard one to imagine them pulling off, but it happened.
Yeah.
But I could see them having this weird ending where Ash, he who has come from the skies to deliver us from the terrors of the Deadites, lands. It's like that just it's an ending that kind of works.
It's
It'd
so
be
fucking
funny just to be like, oh man, they were gonna make that movie, but they actually did it, which is so cool. But I like that they changed it a little bit too, where like by the time we see him next, not to spoil the beginning of a movie, but he's a slave and everything. And here
He's
they
a
seem to be
full-on action character now.
like they're greeting him as a hero here, but he's like, I guess it's maybe more interesting to make him a slave at the beginning.
yeah.
He gets to like break free and stuff, but
It's just very cool how this movie starts off as like a guy going to the cabin with his girlfriend for the weekend.
yeah, right.
And it ends with he's like being surrounded by knights in armor, screaming with like while raising
Yeah.
a sword, and he's got a fucking sawed-off shotgun in one hand, a chainsaw for his other hand, and
I know.
he's like ripped to shred. Like he just looks like a fucking comic book character. It's so
It's cool to think about these people. Not only are you like falling through time, but like they've never seen any of these things: a car, a chainsaw, a shotgun. You know what I mean? Like, what is all this shit?
That's the end of the
Yeah,
movie.
that's true. And you talk about the reluctant hero; they're all chanting like, hail this
Yeah.
guy that's here, and he's like, no, oh god damn it.
It's
So,
just,
yeah.
it feels very earned that he makes this full
It's really cool.
transformation.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just dope.
So that's the picture. I will now read the credits. Jeremy, if you'd stay quiet. Bruce Campbell was Ash.
Mhm.
Sarah Berry was. I'm just kidding. I won't commit to that. Ted Raimi played a possessed Henrietta. How's that?
That's pretty cool.
He fake shumped it up. While the credits roll, I want to say two other Sam Raimi movies that I recommend.
Okay.
Darkman from I think the early 90s. I think after this he might have
Never
got a little
seen it.
juice,
Always
got to do.
wanted
And
to.
Darkman is a cool Liam Neeson flick that's like unless I'm mistaken, it sure feels like an original that they made that just like this could be a comic book character. It just
Yeah.
wasn't around until
Is
right
it
now.
not?
Or so,
I
like
thought
it's-
Darkman was my understanding of Darkman. And maybe I'm totally wrong with this.
I
I
could
think
be wrong.
Darkman was he wanted to make a different movie, but they didn't let him, so he made his own.
kind of feels like it's just like an original piece of like
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. So real quick, for a long time, Sam Raimi had been interested in adapting a comic book into a film. He pursued and failed to secure the rights to both The Shadow and Batman. Decided to create his
Okay.
own. So
Yeah.
he was like, "Fuck it, I don't need a."
You
I'll just
make
make my own
Darkman?
Shadow.
It's really cool. It's Darkman. It's Liam Neeson. Years before Taken made him like an action star again. It's like him leading this cool action thing. And then maybe my favorite Sam Raimi movie, my favorite Bill
Maybe Hell?
Paxton performance, A Simple Plan is a really, really incredible film.
Oh, I've listened to the band, but I've never
fucks
seen
me
the
up.
movie.
The movie's better. It goes the movie, the book, the band on A Simple Plan.
Okay.
Easily. But yeah, I said Bill Paxton's second best performance for me. Club Dread, number one. A Simple Plan.
He hasn't
That's
really
like-
made a good movie in a while. I guess like Drag Me. So he hasn't really made a movie. I guess
Drag Me to Hell is
Hell is
pretty tight,
2009.
too.
Drag Me to Hell is
Okay.
good. He does. So then he directs the
Solid.
Oz the Great and the Powerful, which is bad, but he didn't write it.
Mhm,
And then that's it.
wow,
He's working on
He did-
Doctor Strange.
He did some. I mean, I think he was like on a producer level or something, but he had a Quibi thing I kept getting emails about.
Sure, I don't.
Some
know.
anthology series that I'm sure they gave him.
I'm
money
sure
to
also he worked on the
put
TV
his
show.
name on. Yeah.
Should we watch? Should we watch Army of Darkness eventually on this?
Hey, we could put it in the back pocket, you know,
Yeah. Wonder what people.
in the podcast pants that we
Yeah.
keep to see that metaphor through to the end.
This is fun. I hope people like it. If you don't like it, let us know and we'll stop doing it. But if you do like it, let us know and we'll keep doing it. And I am referring to watching movies for our podcast
That's right.
and talking about it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that was inevitable, right?
Yeah, who cares?
So that was Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn.
Is that the caption? Is the caption of the movie?
I swear it was. I used to see it, but now I don't see it anywhere. I think it was on like the VHS tape that I rented a million times. Shouldn't it be though?
Dead by Dawn, Evil Dead, Dead by Dawn.
Yeah, like this the VHS box. You know,
also known in publicity materials as Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on there.
it's on there. It says that on there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Zombieland. I'm looking at now the other comedy horrors. They got Zombieland, which I don't really like very much. Tucker and
I
Dale.
like Zombieland. I liked it.
It's been a long time.
I mean, you know who I'm a big fan of? Woody.
Well, yeah,
Woody
he's
guy.
great.
Big Woody guy. Woody can do no wrong. Woody's truly an actor that can do everything, by the way.
Apparently, the first commercially successful comedy horror film is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those are, I would be, surprised to find out that those didn't influence like Raimi and
That's really funny,
and
though.
some of that stuff. Yeah. We don't do that anymore. We don't do a lot of big, I don't know what the comedic meetup would be, you know, like Kevin Hart and I guess Chris Rock's in the new Saw movie. What the fuck do I know?
You know who it would be? It would be the fucking, what are the guys from that prank show?
The Jokers?
Yeah, it would be like the Impractical Jokers meets
Right, they would meet
Freddy Krueger. And they're like in a dream, and they're like,
We're getting people that die in embarrassing ways in the dreams.
I think that would be what it is, because they're huge, dude. Do you know, like, they're an improv troupe, right? Like, they're like a sketch team.
No, Jeremy, I love the pranks on that show, but I find them really regrettable as
But you know who they are, though? Like, what's the name of the Tenderloins?
The Tenderloins.
They sold out Madison Square Garden as like a sketch group.
Yeah, and they do like the O2. They do a cruise.
That's got to be the biggest sketch show ever, right?
I think so. And the thing is, hey, I'm a hater ass, but I don't know. I wish they would stick to the.
People love that shit. It's
they
very
love that
watchable
shit.
TV.
No. For my money, what I'm saying is, I wish they would stick to the hidden camera prank stuff. Them on a stage, I could really take relief from everything.
Well, I think that if
gathered.
you're famous enough to sell out Madison Square Garden, you're an idiot if you don't. I mean, it just seems like probably the most fun thing you could do.
You sound like you don't think they should take my advice and retool their entire act.
If I told you tomorrow, Mark, me and you could do a show at Madison Square Garden as the Hard Drive podcast, but you can't prepare for it. We don't have time to prepare like a good show. So we're doing it. We can do it tomorrow, and it's gonna be a sold out show. No COVID, by the way. And but it's not gonna be a good show.
You tucked that right in there.
Would you do it? I feel like, yeah, it sounds fucking great. It sounds like a blast.
Wait, if I don't do it, is COVID still happening?
It gets paused for the day.
Okay, so it's not like that guy could have stopped COVID and he didn't when he did the show.
No.
Then I won't do it. In that case, I won't.
We could sell pins at the door.
Oh, we can sell pins? I love that. Let's do it. Madison Square Garden, you probably charge like $10 for a little pin, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the going rate. Well, what are we doing here? Scooby-Doo meets John Cena. That's the one. Mario and Luigi meet Frankenstein. Very fun.
That'd be fun. We should do another. We should do another Mario episode, I suppose.
Hey, we should get John Cena on the show.
Yeah. Do you think what's his?
That's my new idea.
DM him on Twitter.
He's fun on Twitter and Instagram. He's very motivational.
Does he follow Hard Drive? That's usually, I don't know if people realize this, but the way that I get most of our guests is I just slide into the DMs of people who follow Hard Drive and say, do you want to come on our podcast? And then they say, yeah, sounds great. And then I say, just watch this Mario episode. And then I never hear from them again.
Oh, paisanos, the people that almost came onto the show before they pulled up to the party and saw how weird the house was.
Like, let's just turn around, dude.
Yeah, I don't think everyone saw us yet.
I'm trying to think of anyone. I'm trying to think of anyone I'd want to say who we almost had, but it's.
I don't. I mean, I don't begrudge anyone that didn't.
No, of course not. I going on any podcast is an experience, but it's just funny to imagine what could have been.
Yeah. Now we got to give him some names. Okay,
It's
Willem
usually-
Dafoe almost came on.
It's usually the less famous people, like the most famous people we've had on the podcast. I will ask, and before I send the question, they're almost like, "All right, let's do it, baby." Chloe Dexter might have been. Chloe Dexter was one of the best guests I ever had.
That was awesome. That was
I think
a lot
that
of fun.
was maybe my favorite podcast we've ever done. One of the most.
It's fun when someone is game to talk Bob Forward and Patrick Dempsey and all the collected like lure we've really established. Dare I say, a mythology.
Yeah, I think we will definitely at least ask her to come back on.
Yeah, and follow up with a fruity cake actor.
Yeah, we'll get into
follow deep
Gary
guy. I don't know.
Schwartz.
Yeah, Gary Schwartz, Patrick Dempsey. Anyone from Grey's Anatomy at this point, just to get closer to Dempsey. We're gonna really just start hitting the books on this, I think. Anyone that's watched Grey's Anatomy really is probably welcome to come on the show at this point. What do you think? Is that it? Is that the show?
Yeah, I think that's the show, man. Hey, thanks for listening. Have a good rest of your week.
Yeah, and stay out of the woods, guys.
Yeah, because there's an Evil Dead out there.
There's an Evil Dead out
Now
there.
we know why you got to stay out, right?
I forget why we got there in the first place.
Now we know it's because of the Evil Dead that's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a normal dead. That dead is no good. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Thanks for
everybody.
hanging out, guys.